because India has just become world champion, and I have with me the only Indian captain who led India to two World Cup finals. Finally, Mithali, World Cup.
Yeah, I think after being so close twice and then not getting through the line, and now finally India can say that we've won a World Cup in an ODI format.
How does it feel like? How do you feel like?
I'm actually when we won, I wasn't there in the commentary box. It was pretty. I can't really put it into words, the emotions, but I just couldn't see the last two wickets. India was leaking few runs and getting Nedin de Klerk get those boundaries, and I was like, what is this happening? And I just got up and left. Only later when I heard the crowd roar, I realized, okay, we've become champions. And then that's the time when I came out and saw people congratulating each other, and then I like, finally we have India on that trophy. There are names of the teams who have won the championship, and finally I get to see India there.
There are a number of players who have obviously made, I think most of them have made their debuts under your captaincy. Someone like Shafali, someone like Richa. Shafali coming into the match, the semi-final and final, and then playing that sort of a knock, taking wickets. About Shafali.
I think Shefali was like a wild card entry. I mean, you sometimes you just for a purpose, for a reason that she came in. Yes, I mean it is just very unfortunate of Pratika. I mean, whatever opportunities she got, the run she's put, especially in that literal quarterfinal against New Zealand, 200 run partnership with Smriti, and both of them ended up getting hundreds for India in this tournament. That was the India finally got centurions in the 11, and then she getting injured before the big semi-final. But I think at every step for the team, there's been moments of brilliance from different players in each game. Whether you take against New Zealand, the semi-final, you had a different centurion, Jemimah, Harman, and Deepti and Richa may not be, they may not have scored hundreds of 50s. 50s, of course, Deepti and Richa have scored, but their innings in every game when India was in that crunch situations, playing those cameo roles, had its own impact on the entire game. So bowling, if we talk about bowling, then you have Kranti Gaur, started off the tournament well. She was in wickets. Renuka got her opportunity later, but in the middle phases, Sri Charni has constantly been given the job of breaking partnerships, getting wickets, all important wickets, and she's done extremely well for someone who's just walked into the side this year along with Kranti Gaur.
Absolutely. I was going to ask you about Deepti. She has been an utility player for India for a long time, but somewhere her efforts generally go unnoticed. Player of the tournament in a World Cup where you are a champion, Deepti finally getting her due.
Well, I think from the beginning itself, she's been a quality player. She may not be someone who's very expressive as to what she does on the field and, emoting or putting words to those emotions that she feels. But someone who's really very gritty player is whether I've spoken this on few platforms about she making debut for India as a opening bat and then coming down the order at sometimes number 8, number 9, and never has she complained about the fact that she's not got enough opportunities. But there have always been expectations. She's been criticized for her strike rate, but people don't really understand the situation she walks in. Every time whenever the top order fails, you have Deepti on one end, holding one end and trying to put in the runs that the best she can. But I've seen that she's really worked on that aspect of her batting since I think the third season of WPL, yes, where she was able to sort of improve her strike rate in the T20 format, which led her to do well in the one-day format, but more so the responsibility of being that all-rounder in that 11, the one where she sort of is a bridge between the purist at the top and the bowlers at the bottom. You have Deepti Sharma, sort of stitching that together as a glue, as a true all-rounder. The days that she doesn't contribute with the bat, she's picking wickets for you in the ball. And then she bowls in all three phases. Give her a new ball in the middle phases and in the death with her Yorkers, with the faster ones, new ball with her drifters. I think over the years, the experience, she's able to sort of use it at the right time.
Absolutely. Before ending, I think last two questions. One, about Harmanpreet, the captain, and whole leadership group. From about the New Zealand match, we saw how involved Smriti is. Yeah. How even Deepti was involved in the leadership group. So the whole leadership group, of course, and Harman now is the only World Cup winning captain.
Yeah, I think it's important, especially in a tournament like this. As a captain, there's a lot of expectations from you in terms of the commitments you are required everywhere. And sometimes you don't get the time to sort of give your players. And that's when I think if you're having a leadership group, your deputy, the seniors in the side, someone like even Jemimah, who's been with the squad for a long time, can sort of get involved and do that part for the captain, because it sort of reduces the load, the responsibility. And I think that's what we got to see. And especially after those 3 games, losing those 3 games at a trot, and then to make a comeback. Yes, it's just not the requirement from the captain to do that, but it required the entire leadership group to come together to get the team out, to perform the way they did against New Zealand and then against Australia in the semi-final. I think those 2 games have really seen that the involvement of everybody on the field.
One last question. It's a 2-part. How much has WPL contributed to it? And of course, the BCCI. We have to thank BCCI.
Of course, I mean, absolutely. I mean, in everybody who've played a part, the board, BCCI and WPL have a huge role in sort of seeing this happen. One is that, being part of the World Cup, hosting the World Cup in India. I've been part of that in 2013 as well, but I've never seen the way it was done now with the response. What was more heartening to see by the BCCI, the current secretary, is to sort of honor all the former cricketers on the first game of the tournament, Sri Lanka versus India. Emphasizing that it's all those people who've put in the yards in the past, they've actually sown the seeds, and the current generation is able to stand on that platform. Right, and that's really heartening, and it was very nice of the current secretary of BCCI to do that. And our former secretary and ICC president, Mr. Jay Shah, he was the one who sort of revolutionized, taken these decisions and get WPL start. It's finished 3 seasons, and you've seen the number of lives it has changed, especially with women cricketers. The approach has changed, and we always talk about the fearlessness, but fearlessness comes only when constantly you are put through those experiences, which each one of these players gone through the WPL, because that's again very demanding format, and when in the franchise league it's on a different level. And when you're constantly putting the players through those demands, and then it helps them to sort of first is accept and absorb, and then they find a way to go through that. And then when you feel the same experiences on a global tournament like the World Cup, I mean, they're already prepared for it. So huge credit to BCCI for actually doing this, and for our former secretary of BCCI, Jay Shah, and is the current ICC president. He's also got the the commercial, the amount of this World Cup. Yeah, the prize money is equal. I mean, that's a great thing to actually do that. You're sort of showing that, where women's cricket stands is on par with men's cricket. That's how you view it as the ICC president, as BCCI secretary. And once the head views that, that's how it spreads everywhere. And now you get to see people sort of don't really look down on women's cricket.
Packed crowds.
And then we don't have to sort of see those tweets where, oh, we've not won women's cricket, they've not won any tournament, a global tournament. So you can say that under 19 we won 2 World Cups, and the senior team has won ODI World Cup.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mithali, for taking time out and speaking to us. Who better to speak to right after winning the World Cup? For me, one of the greatest moments of the day, definitely, of course, winning the World Cup one. The other one, seeing her lift the World Cup, because I think nothing can beat the fact that this woman here has pulled India on her shoulders for a long, long time. Thank you so much, Mithali, for being the player you are, and thank you for taking time out.